Hey, this is Kyle Crawford from Strong Dads. Strong Dads wants to thank Crimer Beer House for sponsoring today's Strong Dads podcast. The beer house was started in 1982 by the Crimer family. Since that time, they've become a Cincinnati favorite. If you're looking for an incredible meal and an incredible setting, you have to try Crimer's Beer House down on Route 128 in Cleves, Ohio.
Welcome to Strong Dads. This is Merle Hutchinson sitting here next to Kyle Crawford, coming together for another great show. Kyle, I got steam in my veins again today.
I know. We spent the last 15, 20 minutes talking about the whole show. We're fired up, ready to go.
Kicked off.
Oh, we're ready to go.
Good stuff. How you been?
I'm great. I'm off this week again. It's my EDO week.
Would you do me a favor and quit bringing up how much you're off?
I mean, I'm off. I get a week off 17 times a year. So on this show, there should be about 17 times where I say I'm off this whole week.
I think if we've done 52 shows, you said it 52 times. I'm off.
It's either I got off this morning or I'm off this whole week.
Yeah. Oh, that's
anyway,
good stuff.
How are you, Merle?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing all right. You know, just a lot of hopefully moving towards more normalcy. Our kids are involved in things. Although I got to tell you, based on when this airs, my son came home last night and he said, yeah, there's a chance football is going to be shut down for the year. I was like, no way. So we're still dealing with COVID at the time of this recording. So they were going to find out more today. I guess there was an incident of somebody testing positive somewhere, and there was a quarantining, and they were trying to see the level of quarantine that they were going to have to do. So anyway, let's not go there, please.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we talking about today?
Yeah,
it got my blood boiling.
I know already. So if you guys had a chance to listen to our last show, and then this show will kind of be similar in a sense of maybe hopefully it comes across as a little bit of we're a little fired up, a little passionate about some of the stuff we're going to talk about, and I think it's at our current state of our country, there's a lot of division right now, and for you and I, we are very passionate about fatherhood and being a strong dad and getting in the grind with your family and being involved and not throwing your hands up and giving up. So I think today's topic, we're going to look at that. One of our very first shows we looked at statistics, and now we're fast forward. We're over a year into recording shows, and seemingly there's still so much division in our country, but yet the thing that we're so passionate about, fatherhood, almost sometimes gets put on the back burner.
Right.
And really all these other things, again, not to minimize those problems that are going on in our country, because I think they are legitimate things going on. But a lot of the problems that come from this country stem from the idea of fatherless homes, and that issue is still so very prevalent in our country. Yeah. And so hopefully today you'll hear our passion come through the mics, because we are very passionate about this, and it is still today a huge issue we have in our country. So hopefully we'll dive into that issue a little bit.
Well, you mentioned in this country, one of the things that we've tried to do in this show is we don't want to go political.
Absolutely.
We're not political commentators. We're not even theologians. We try not to get too crazy deep in theology. We talk about being dads, being husbands, and because we look at it as being the core of our job that we've got to take care of. And, I think as we're coming into our election season, the conversation that continues to come up is really this choosing of sides. Every day it's like in our face. And I get, if I don't get asked, it's assumed or presumed, are you a conservative, excuse me, or are you a liberal? Are you left or are you right? Are you Democrat or are you Republican? Are you a theist or an atheist? And so you're kind of like being put in this position of choosing sides. And the danger, is what we're going to talk about today, the danger of choosing sides. It's like picking a team, and then what happens is the loyalty that you have to have for that team and what that team stands for. It's no different than gang thought. When I get somebody in a gang, once I basically subscribe to the gang, no matter what the gang does, even if in my heart I go, oh man, I don't think this is a good thing to do. You can't break the tide of the gang. Otherwise, you're going to be ousted. And so we are in this gang thought process of how we operate. And in the meantime, we are losing sight of our job as dads.
Yeah.
We're losing sight of our job. And I think part of what we really want to just dig into today is like, whoa, are you getting sucked in to, I'm going to use the phrase lightly here, but are you being sucked into a gang? Yeah. Or are you getting sided? Are you going to a side? Yeah. And again, a lot of this is our human nature. Like, it's fun. It can be fun to belong to something, to have some ownership. Like, we all have our favorite teams.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you look at me. You're looking at you. Oh yeah. What's your favorite team, by the way? Wait. Do I know? Do I even know?
I think most people that know me know I'm a huge Kentucky fan.
Yeah, I'll pray for you.
Big Kentucky fan. And yes, we always kind of BBN is the Big Blue Nation. We bleed blue. Just what you're talking about. Like I'm ingrained. I love Kentucky basketball.
Okay, so who are some of the rivals?
Oh boy,
to Kentucky.
Well, Louisville always comes to mind. Louisville and Duke would be the two biggest rivals.
It used to be Indiana, but that was back in the 80s.
Yeah, I remember going to Indiana Kentucky basketball games. And, but I would say present day would be Louisville and Kentucky would be the two big. And the Louisville one, because the former Rick Pitino coach of Kentucky,
that's right.
He went over to Louisville,
went to the dark side.
I know, and then the big game Duke Kentucky with Christian Laettner hitting the buzzer beater to go into the Final Four, but. It's just that would definitely be the Kentucky's probably two biggest rivals. But yes, I bleed blue through and through. I love, and now I say I bleed blue, but I'm more just Kentucky basketball. So I don't really do a whole lot of the college football stuff. But
just for the basketball sake. Okay.
Yeah.
So be honest.
All right.
So if you are the Blue Nation man, okay, the UK guy, all right. So what are your thoughts about the rivals?
We hate them.
You use the word hate.
And that's
really?
You said to be honest.
I know. You hate them?
Well, I'll say this. Regardless of who those two teams are playing, I'm always rooting. I'm rooting for the other team. I will never, ever. I don't know who I would root for if Louisville.
You're sick.
If Louisville and Duke played, that could. I just probably wouldn't.
You would watch. Yeah.
I just wouldn't.
You would watch.
Yeah, I always root for the other team. Yeah. Always.
That's funny. Well, I mean, and that's what it speaks to. Like all of a sudden, you get a little pride in the team that you protect, and then the next thing you know. In order to support your team, you have to be the anti-supporter of anything that stands against it, right?
Well, and the crazy thing is, present day, if you go to a game in Kentucky, you'd be hard-pressed not to see someone that has a sign or T-shirt that says, I still hate Christian Laettner. And it's like you're brought up in that culture. Like this is, if you want to be a Kentucky fan, you have to hate Duke because of one player, Christian Laettner, made a buzzer beater against Kentucky. So you're brought up into this culture where it's like, I hate them. I hate them. So,
and again, we're talking in perspective of sports here.
Sure. Yes.
And I'm hoping you got a little bit of common sense to you that if I don't know though, I could see you driving down the road and see some poor guy with a U of L sticker on his back of his car with a flat tire, and I could see you flying by going, sorry about your luck today,
Tell
brother.
the kids, look, there's a deer and flick them off. I wouldn't do that, Mer. I would never do that. Never done that before.
Oh, okay.
What about you? We got to stop, saying I got to be honest. You be honest. Who's your team and who's the big rival?
Well, so I think I've shared before as much. I mean, I'm a personal trainer. I'm into fitness. I'm not a great spectator at all. And so my loyalty to one particular team has just never been great. I mean, I'm a local guy, and I ride. I am so fair weather. I am so bandwagon because I just don't invest that much in it. But with that being said, one of the games I watch every year is a football game. My older son went to the Naval Academy.
Sure.
And so you see that right there,
I see
brother?
it. He's holding up a U.S. Navy.
Yes, Naval
is that
Academy.
an Army? Is that in that Army?
No, it's not Army. I'll smack you right now. I hate. No, I'm sorry. Did I say that? I can't say it. No. But to watch Navy, of course, and just they're just an excellent program. And I think the thing that's really cool about them is that these guys are not probably ever going to play pro ball.
Sure.
They work their butt off, and I know their schedules. Our son, I know it because our son lived it. So for them to continue to be football players and do all the other stuff they do, I have a lot of respect for that. But the Army-Navy game is the most watched football game in our country.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is on that field, I'll use the word hate. They hate each other.
Oh, yeah.
They're out for blood, and they're going to do everything they can to win. But the cool thing, and this is really kind of leading into our conversation today, is they keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah.
They ultimately, through their ceremonies, through their traditions, take time to stop and recognize what they're actually both there for. Yeah. And that is the coming together to be united and to protect this country, protect you and I.
Yeah.
And so all football aside, all fun and all competition aside, they know what they're there for. And I think that's really where my head goes in this conversation, because in the meantime, if I get so trapped in hating somebody and my loyalty is driving me to make decisions that I know are just wrong in terms of helping people or doing my job, being a good person, my loyalty outranks what I ought to be doing. Yeah.
That's good stuff. I definitely think it'll be a good conversation. Definitely before we dive into the conversation, definitely want to thank our sponsors. So again, today's Strong Dads podcast, we'd love to thank the Crimer's Beer House for coming alongside of us. The beer house was started in 1982 by the Crimer family, and since that time, they've definitely become a Cincinnati favorite. So if you're looking for an incredible meal in an incredible setting, definitely go down on Route 128 and check out Crimer's Beer House.
All right. Thank you. So I also want to thank Mansfield Insurance Agency, located in Bright, Indiana, for being one of today's Strong Dads sponsors. Established in 1981, the Mansfield Insurance Agency has been dedicated to the individuals and businesses in Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky. So for all your insurance needs, contact Mansfield Insurance Agency. All right. So why this topic? Well, I think to go back to the top of the show, there is a lot of separation. There is division going on. And in the meantime, there are a lot of fires going on, and I'm not talking about the forest fires, okay? There are a lot of things just burning up, just getting destroyed in our communities, our cities, even in the rural areas. There's a lot of things falling apart. And I think we have to look at what our purpose is in that. Because, you and I both shared our favorite teams. And we're not isolated from being, we would never pick a loyalty over our job. Yeah, we both just proved that we would, okay? we both proved that we would, we use terms like hate and, we would disrespect somebody if they don't believe like we believe.
Yeah.
So we're calling out all of us today, right?
Yeah, and I definitely, in preparing for the show, I think you brought up a great analogy, which obviously it kind of stands true for me, being that what I do. If we continue to sit out in the front of a yard while there's a house fire going on, and we continue to bicker and argue about how things should be done in order to attack this house fire, we see it a lot. I'm on a truck company, and then there's engine companies. And engine companies deal with hose lines, and truck guys, we deal with forcible entry and search and rescue. And if we sit out there and say, man, they should have pulled the hose line this way, or they should attack it this way, they should have pulled this fog nozzle, and we basically sit out there and bicker and complain about how things should have been done, the house is still on fire.
Yeah.
And that analogy, I think it stands true because we continue to, as a country, just like you're saying, we get so pigeonholed in these labels that I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat. I can't have conversations with that person. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to continue to complain about them and their beliefs and what they think and how they want to go about stuff. But yet our country's on fire right now.
Yeah,
And there's so much fixing that needs to be done, and not minimizing the arguments that the other side has. Wherever you stand on the political spectrum, or wherever you stand on any spectrum, there's always going to be opposing sides to that spectrum. Wherever you stand on that, if we continue to just sit back and say, well, what they think is completely wrong, man, we're missing the big picture. We're missing what can really unify us as people, as we're all Americans. If we come together, listen. I mean, that's one of the things we always talk about here. Just start the conversation, and then part of conversation is you have to talk, and then you have to allow someone to you have to listen.
Yeah.
So yes, our country is on fire right now. And again, going back to what I said at the beginning of the show, here, you and I, Merle, the reason we started the show is because we are so passionate about fatherlessness in our country, and we really feel at the core like we have to fix stuff that's going on in our home before we can try and fix outside stuff going on. So I really think if we kind of turn the conversation back to what's going on in this country when it comes to fatherlessness, I feel like, again, if we could talk to one guy, and one guy hears the message of strong dads and sticks in it and like not going to throw his hands up, then I think what you and I have done, not that we're anything special, but if we can just start that conversation and get that man to second guess his decision of leaving, I think we've accomplished something.
Yeah. So our conversation is shifting over to, noticing that the house is on fire, and noticing what our job as men is in protecting and beating down the fire, because it's no longer the other stuff that's causing the problem. It's the idea that my house is on fire. What am I doing to actually protect it? And if you don't believe that your house is on fire, again, the vital statistics of the nation on fatherlessness are amazing. They are amazing because they're so scary, truthful.
Yeah.
We're going to run through some of these, and hopefully not to do anything more than to get us to realize the house is on fire.
Yep, exactly.
The house is on fire, and if you don't believe us, listen to these stats, all right? Listen to this one. 63% of suicides in youth come from a fatherless home. 63% of kiddos who take their life do not have a father.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not cool. No. That's a pretty hard correlation.
Yeah. And I would be interested to see, in 2 or 3 years from now, what that stat looks like, because right now, in the midst of a crisis in our country, mental health and suicides are from everything I'm hearing are up. And it just goes to the idea that if the father is in the home and is able to walk alongside of their kid through a crisis like this, through going to school, having to wear a mask all day, the uncertainty, the inconsistency of everything going on right now, without a steady, steadfast father figure, man, what does that do for the kid? The one stat that I kind of highlighted was 90% of all homeless and runaway children are from fatherless homes.
Yeah,
man, that's hard, because like I don't know, my life would be wrecked if my girls ran away.
Oh yeah,
it would be wrecked.
But 90% of those kids, if you go find a runaway kid, 90% of them will not have a dad actively in their life.
Yep.
Okay, think about that, guys. That's a house on fire. Okay.
Yeah.
How about this one? This one, I don't have to read a statistic. This is my last 20 years of work as a school counselor at the elementary school. 85% of all children who show behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. 85%. I don't question that statistic at all. I lived it, okay? And one of our guests sometime back was Jason Boyd. And we had Jason in because he had a son who was a challenging behavior kiddo when he was coming through school.
I think you called him a wild Mustang.
He was a wild Mustang. And you know what? He is in the 15% where he pulled through, and he pulled through because of his dad.
Yeah.
Okay, he pulled through because of his dad. So that is huge.
Yeah, I mean just when we start to look at some of the statistics when it comes to the education side, I mean that 40% are less likely to repeat a grade if the father is not there. Like, man, 40%. So we're talking darn near half of kids that don't have a dad are going to repeat a grade. That's tough because, I mean, again, I think that stat could almost play into the suicide because, I mean, your friends move on and then you're left behind. And just what that does for the mental stability of a child to almost feel like they're failures because I think every human being is ingrained that they don't want to fail at something.
Yeah.
And when a kid fails a grade and has to repeat that, man, that's hard for the kid because, again, a lot of these stats that we share, the person that is really truly affected is the child, and man, I hope as a country we can look at, or as men we can look at that and say that's our last thing we want is for the child to feel left out, to feel neglected, to feel abused in some regard, to have mental instability. Like those should be the last things we want, and to sit here and say that darn near 40% of kids without a dad have the chance of repeating a grade. That's tough.
Well, and to just pile up on that one, 71% of all high school dropouts come from a fatherless home. 71%. Wow. Okay, that's not like, well, I kind of think there's a correlation. No, that's a strong correlation. Okay, that's a strong correlation. 71% of all high school dropouts. This is a stat that I thought was crazy. 80% of all rapists. Okay, 80% of all rapists, come from fatherless homes.
Wow.
I think that came from that one's from the Justice and Behavior Department. Oh my gosh. Like you can actually connect being a rapist to not having a father. That's a pretty heavy duty stat. The house is on fire, guys. Yeah. The house is on fire.
Absolutely. You know, the U.S. Department of Census, they're saying that 43% of U.S. children live without a father. Man, that just, to me, that jumps out. Again, that the house is on fire, and we're not even listening to these things that jump out at us. I mean, again, just. Man, that we need to realize that our differences we have when you put yourself on labels, those differences are there, and they're always going to be there. We're not saying that everyone needs to think exactly the same. We're not saying that everyone needs to be all happy sunshine. But again, just realizing you're sitting out in the front yard bickering about how things should be done, and you look around and someone's house is on fire, and that someone's house is ours.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's bring this into how we get sucked into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because part of this is illustrating that there is a fire, but now how we get sucked into not fighting the fire. Okay. And if you don't think you're guilty of that, look in the mirror a little closer because we can definitely get into that.
For sure.
We see it in our politics all the time. Most politicians, most people across this country actually do agree on a lot of the same stuff. We actually have more in similar than we do in difference.
Yep.
We really do. I mean, people want good lives. People want jobs. People want health. Okay. But when we separate on a line of loyalty, we will not do something if it goes against that party. And so the implications are crazy in terms of how our brain thinks, and then ultimately leading to our behavior. And calling ourselves out on saying, wait, am I being loyal at the expense of doing my job?
Yeah.
Am I being loyal at the expense of doing my job? And not only should we call politicians out on that, but we need to call fathers out on that.
Yeah.
So something really crazy happens with loyalty. One of them is just like we were talking about before with sports. It now becomes an us versus them mentality. Yeah. The side is drawn. It's us versus them. That can be fun in a football game, but that can be dangerous in your home and your marriage.
Absolutely.
That can be dangerous in getting our jobs done, getting resources. I think about all of the different things that we actually agree on, and I think, wow, everybody's sitting around here agreeing that the fire needs to be put out, but they're not going to make a move because they might not get the credit.
Yeah.
And they might have to give credit to somebody else.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Absolutely. I mean, that goes to the thought process and the idea that, man, you'd have to have on some serious blinders to not realize that the house is on fire. If you are so passionate about the differences that you have with someone, you have these blinders up, and you get so focused in tunnel vision that it's just like the big picture here. Going back to sports analogy, my brother actually sent this to me, and this is, I'm talking to myself just as much as talking to you, Merle.
You don't really need to talk to me because okay, I need to be talked to. Go ahead.
But I mean, this tweet came out from J.J. Watt, who plays for the Texans, the football in the NFL, and the Texans got their butt whooped on this past week. And JJ put a little text message out, and I think it's great advice for everyone. He sent a little tweet out that says, "Nobody cares. Work harder."
Yeah.
And
do your job.
Do your job. That used to be like a Marvin Lewis thing, right?
Yeah. Do your job.
We say that at work all the time. We say we may put another letter in there. We say, but we say it all the time. Just do your job. Do what you can. I mean, there's going to be outside stuff that happens every single day.
Yeah.
But man, we have to just buckle down. We have to do our job. What we can affect, what we can determine. Like, we have to make our mind up. Nobody cares about the differences you have with somebody else.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about them. And that might sound really harsh, but I'm talking to myself because I'll be the first to admit I get caught up in the political stuff all the time. I get caught up in, they think this way. Like, how could they ever think? Why doesn't everyone think like me? I get caught up in that all the time.
Well, yeah, it's a right versus wrong. It's no longer like their side versus mine or my opinion. It's like, I'm right and they're wrong. Yeah. I mean, we actually develop. So every time we have a win, like if something seems to work out our way, we get this pride and this arrogance. Yeah. Like, see, told you. And I tell you see this on both sides of the political aisle. You see this on so many different areas, that when things seem to be working right for a particular group or team, there's a pride and arrogance.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Pride quickly goes into arrogance, and we've done entire shows about pride.
Yeah.
Pride comes before the fall. Right? Yeah. Don't forget that. Yeah. And it does. Pride comes before the fall. And so arrogance is, I know it all already, and I'm not very teachable. I'm not very coachable. And all of these things are things that, if we arrive on the fire scene, I'm going to yield to the guy who knows the most about what's going on, and I'm going to shut my trap, and I'm going to let that guy direct me. Yeah. And is he going to make mistakes? Yep. Yeah, he is. We are. But I'm going to yield because I ultimately have a job that I have to get done. Yeah. All right.
I definitely think, here you and I, Merle, we are believers in Christ, and I would never apologize for that. So whenever we have topics that we talk about, I think it's really good to run it through God's Word, see what He says about being unified and coming together as people, as not having differences. I just went on the Bible app and typed in unity, and Colossians 3:14 popped out, and as soon as I read it, I was like, oh, yeah.
What's it say?
Yeah, Colossians 3:14 says, beyond all these things, put on love, which is a perfect bond of unity. Man, if you look at the life of Jesus, what He did, He didn't care where you came from, the things you did prior to Him being there. He brought on, he took love and made it the perfect unity. He used as a bond. He bonded love together with these guys, even though they came from different walks of life. They thought different. They have different crap that was going on in life. All He wanted was you. He didn't care where you came from. He cared where we're going.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great, it's something moving forward for us as men. We all have crap going on. We all have stuff. We all have differences with each other. Who cares? It's not about where we're coming from. It's where we're going. And we need to go attack that house fire. We can't just sit outside and continue to say, man, you did this wrong and you did this wrong. And why would you ever do that? Let's just go fight that fire together.
Yeah. And the first fire that we're actually talking about is the one that your own house is caught up in. Mm-hmm. That's actually what we have to drive each one of our strong dads to, because it's so easy for me to sit on my front porch and watch your house burn and tell you how you ought to fix your house.
Yep.
In the meantime, my kitchen's burning down behind me. Okay.
Yep.
And so the idea here is God created strong dads for a reason. And that reason, you as a man are there to provide, to take care of, to care for, to discipline, to love, as you said there, the love, unity. That is your job with your family and your wife. And if you are not doing those things well, your house is on fire.
Yeah.
At the least, it's smoldering. Yeah. Okay. And that's for you and I. I mean, there is not a day that goes by that there's not tension in my house. That's smoldering. Okay. That's smoldering. And if I don't aggressively recognize that there is a little bit of steam rolling out of my house, if I don't recognize that and I just kind of shoo it away like, oh, whatever, and ignore it, before you know it, I'm going to be fully engulfed.
Yeah.
All right. And it's time for all of us to focus in on our own home, in on our own job, staying in the job, staying in the marriage, staying in the home, and recognizing we have got to stop being separated and pointing our fingers at other people. We have got to come together. We are men. God designed us to be men. He designed us to take charge where our gifts are. So it's time to shut up and it's time to do your freaking job. And I mean, and that's really what this guy, I love J.J. Watts in his statement there.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, your blames and your excuses are costing us the burning of the house, costing us the burning of the nation. And we are all about not owning responsibility in this nation. I mean, everybody wants to point to the other ones, and I don't care whether you're red, blue, Democrat, Republican, conservative. Everybody's got the finger out, and the pointing finger, pointing finger out.
not the middle. Well,
they may be pointing with the middle finger, but the idea of just going back and taking care of your home. These fatherhood statistics, fatherlessness statistics are probably the biggest indicator of the falling of this country. And it doesn't take a genius to find these statistics. You don't. None of these are made up. I found them too. They actually fell out and hit me. You know. So anyway, this is heavy duty call out on us as dads to do our jobs and to stop choosing sides that don't matter. The ultimate side that does matter is good versus bad, all right? Evil, stepping away, recognizing evil, and doing things God's way. That's what we are called to do as strong dads.
Yep, that's so good stuff. I mean, I love just having these conversations. Again, I hope you hear just the passion that we're talking about, because man, this is so true. And again, as we're talking, I'm just thinking of a couple of days ago, I'm at work and we're talking about stupid stuff, the differences at our country. So this conversation just as much for me as it is for all you guys out there. I hope you hear and I hope you can get good takeaways from this show, because that's again just one of the reasons why we started this. So let's just start the conversation, and that conversation maybe doesn't need to be between you and another person right away. Like, have a conversation between you and your wife. The stupid, mundane, small, the difference that you and your wife have. Like, man, we got to fight for our marriage. Our marriage, it has to be worth it. Like, start there, start in your own home. And then, obviously, we talked last week, our last show about, getting involved in a community and hopefully fixing the issues going on in the community. But man, we have to start in our home. When you're talking about, fighting fire, because that's obviously what I do. Man, if you come into a fire and we call it the incipient stage, a very, very small growth stage, and then it gets into the growth and then fully develop, and then it turned into a flashover. And a flashover, everyone dies. Yeah. You don't survive in a flashover, or it's very, very difficult to survive in a flashover. And I think it's so true. We can sit and watch this fire continue to grow and grow and grow. And eventually it's gonna engulf all of us. Yeah. And we have to just take that step back and be like, all right, we have this attack line. We have a hose line in our hand. We have all the tools we need in order to put this fire out. Here at Strong Dads, we believe that starts with a biblical based foundation, and that is our guide for how we're going to attack this fire. Yeah. Our engine crews get in there and they have that hand line and they know right away they can stop that flashover from happening right now. All they have to do is open up the nozzle and the fire goes out. I
like what you said there. It's not like we don't have the tools. Yep. The tools are all right in front of us. Absolutely. And we keep looking for a better tool or a different way, a different therapy, a new medicine. No. That's not what you need. You've got the tools. Yep. Your tools are to get your home straight, humble yourself, and come back together and stop the fire. So
swallow that pride a little bit.
Yeah, and it's huge. It's not easy, especially when we grow up in a culture that's all about being prideful, all about beating our chest. So anyway, hopefully this rings with you. Hopefully this inspires you to share it with somebody. The next time you want to argue politics or teams or something, maybe instead just share the show with them. Because this show is really about us putting the main thing as the main thing and stop bickering over this crazy stuff that's really going to ultimately put us in a flashover.
Yep, for sure.
All right, so close us out, man.
Heck yeah. Again, thanks so much for Mansfield Insurance Agency and Crimer's Beer House for coming alongside of us and believing in what we believe in here. And we really appreciate all you guys out there listening and keep tuning in. We're going to keep putting shows out every week and really appreciate you guys. Go out there and be some strong dads.
Hey, this is Merle Hutchinson from Strong Dads. Strong Dads wants to thank Mansfield Insurance Agency in Bright, Indiana for sponsoring today's Strong Dads podcast. Established in 1981, the Mansfield Insurance Agency has been dedicated to the individuals and businesses in Bright, Indiana, serving clients throughout Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky.